Why did Pilate sentence Jesus despite knowing that he was innocent? Have you ever made a choice you could not reverse, a decision that haunted you for life? This is the tragedy of Pontius Pilate. Welcome to Hidden Truth. Today we uncover the real reason Pontius Pilate handed Jesus over, even after saying 3 times, "I find no fault in him." We will use the Bible, the desire of ages, the spirit of prophecy, and history to explore what really happened. Pontius Pilate was the Roman governor of Judea from about 26 to 36. His job was to maintain peace and enforce the Roman law. However, one early morning, he faced the most important decision of his life, a decision that would cost him everything, including his life. The Jewish leaders brought Jesus to Pilate, his hands tightly bound, his body bruised from the night's abuse. Yet his eyes were calm and steady, filled with a peace that seemed out of place in such a moment. Pilate had seen rebels who shouted in anger, thieves who begged for mercy, and liars who twisted their words to escape judgment. However, Jesus was not like them. There was no fear in his face, no guilt in his voice. Every look and movement spoke of innocence and quiet strength. Pilate questioned Jesus, attempting to find a reason to condemn him, but he couldn't. He went out to the crowd and said, "I find no fault in him at all." John 18:38. Later he washed his hands in front of everyone and said, "I am innocent of the blood of this just man." Matthew 27-24. Pilate declared Jesus innocent 3 times. Yet, in the end, he still ordered Jesus' crucifixion. Why? What could make a judge condemn a man he knew was guiltless? Pilate wanted to free Jesus. However, the desire of ages, page 738, states, he saw that he could not do this and yet retain his own position and honor. Rather than lose his worldly power, he chose to sacrifice an innocent life. This was not Pilate's first clash with the Jewish leaders. The historian Josephus tells us that Pilate once brought Caesar's image to Jerusalem. The people saw it as an insult to their faith and almost started a full revolt. This single incident nearly cost Pilate his position as governor. Here he was again, facing another crisis. The crowd grew louder. The leaders pressed hard. Their voices cut through the air. "If you let this man go, you are not Caesar's friend." John 19:12. Pilate knew exactly what they meant. If Caesar heard that he had released someone accused of being a king, he might lose his job. At that moment, the trial stopped being about truth and justice. It became about Pilate's career in the Roman Empire. Even then, God gave Pilate one last warning. Even now, Pilate was not left to act blindly. A message from God warns him against the deed he is about to commit. His wife was a messenger of heaven. The desire of ages, page 732. However, Pilate ignored this warning, even when he washed his hands before the crowd, saying, "I am innocent of this man's blood." Deep inside, he knew he was not. His plan failed. Pilate sacrificed Jesus to keep his position, but in the end he lost everything. The spirit of prophecy records Pilate's guilt consumed him. The peace and hope he once had vanished when he rejected Christ. Although he tried to wash his hands, he could not wash his conscience. He died a miserable death. By his own hand he ended his life. The Spirit of Prophecy, Volume 3, page 142. 4 life lessons from Pilate's fall. Lesson 1. It is one thing to know what is right, but another to do it, especially when it is difficult. Pilate knew Jesus was innocent, but he lacked the courage to stand up for him. To him who knows to do good and does not do it, to him it is sin. James 4:17. Lesson 2. Pilate cared more about keeping his position and pleasing the crowd than about doing what God wanted. However, living for people's approval always leads to failure. If I still pleased men, I would not be a servant of Christ. Galatians 1:10. Lesson 3. Pilate had the authority to set Jesus free, but he did not use it to protect the innocent. God calls us to use whatever influence we have to defend the weak and do what is right. He has shown you, O man, what is good, to act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. Micah 6:8. Is this episode a blessing? Hit the subscribe button, share this with a friend, and click the Hidden Truth playlist on your screen for more engaging Bible stories. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, and remain blessed until we meet again in another episode.